Good morning and welcome to Man Over Market. This is a live trading session on Thursday, February 26th, 2015. It's 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Lewis Borsellino will be sharing his charts and proprietary indicators during this session. If you're watching this broadcast live, please know that there's a slight video transmission delay of about 30 seconds. If you have questions and you're watching this on YouTube, please post them there. Otherwise, you can post your questions on Twitter, and the handle is @ManOverMarket. There's a disclaimer also posted in the description of this YouTube video, and it reads, trading futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Options, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The following information is an expression of our opinions and is provided for educational purposes only. And now, here's Lewis Borsellino.
All right, everybody, good morning. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit today because I realize that sometimes I go a little too fast for everybody, and I assume that they have the same trading experience that there's all different people in the audience. So first of all, I'm going to talk about this chart right here, which is the market profile chart. Okay, so if I take this chart and split them up, like right here, and then right here. Okay, so if you did a 30-minute candlestick on your chart, this is the first half hour, and it's called bracket B. Okay, and when I talk to you about single prints, this is what you would look as a single print. It means that there are no other letters next to it. So when I take bracket C and I close it in, you don't hit from 2103.75 up to 2107.75. You had two letters next to each other, and the rest of these were single prints. Okay, so this is the first hour of the day, and we made the high and the low basically in the first hour of the day. So that's called our IB range. So it's basically 2103.75 to 2111.75. Okay, so that's what we call the IB range. So when I tell you about 1.5 times the IB range, right now this software automatically computes it for you. So when you look up here, right now, based on the first hour of the day, 1.5 times that range would be 2116 on the upside, and it would be 2099.5 on the downside. So it automatically computes it for you. So as the day goes on, okay, here now this is bracket D. As you can see, you had more letters get filled in, and they were side by side, okay, side by side. So now bracket E started, and almost all the single prints are gone, and we have at least 3 or 2 letters at almost every letter. Now, here's what I talk about. See these 2 letters side by side? To me, this is an unfinished profile because there's no tail in the profile. All right, and the tail would be more like what's here, where you got, you have 3 going into 2, then going into 1, and then you had a little bit of a tail. All right, like here is not enough of a tail, and over the years you probably now here, to me, this is too much of a tail, and I was looking for the market to fill in this morning to 2102.75. So currently, right now, this is what we have. We have unfinished, which is aggravating me because I wish it would have finished, because I have a bullish bias on the day. Now, the other things that I talk about is about rotation. So it looks like we put a double bottom in at the low. All right. So right now, the average rotation is 4.25. That means in the average 5 minutes, the market moves approximately 4.25 points. So if I added 4.25 to the bottom, which is 2103.75, that would have been 2108. 2108. Okay, so we didn't stop there. So when I look at that, coupled with the fact that we have all these higher closes, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little exhaustion, 5, 6, 7, okay, and now we're back inside value. We got back inside value, okay, and I'm going to describe value to you also. And now we're going up to what is the point of control, which is 2111.5. That means this is the most volume traded at this price yesterday. The most amount of contracts in the session yesterday traded at that price. Okay. Now, if I double my rotation, so I add another 4.25 to 4108, my projected high after 2 rotations would be 41.12 1/4. And this is where it started from, right here. You take a look at where this down started from, right about here. Let's see, let's get to 41.12 1/4. So right there. So markets like to go back to what we call the scene of the crime, right? So they like get back to where the scene of the crime is. All right. So a couple things that were alarming me this morning is this is not finished. I got this 5 minute, we're below our 5 minute pivot. We went outside of value, okay? We went through our bull bear zone and now it came back up. So in all practical purposes, we have a bullish bias. The market has gotten back inside value, okay? And we're looking that it's traveling up here. Now we got the 5 minute pivot sitting at 2113 half. This has become a target. Remember, scene of the crime. All right. So if this market is going to keep going, it's going to take that out. Now, here's another important factor. We tweeted you that the NASDAQ, even though in that whole break, it took out its 5 minute pivot and it's been in a buy and it's up 15. Okay. And so when I have conflicting, one in a sell, one in a buy, okay, all right, here we go. This is good. It's not going too fast, but here's the Dow. Now the Dow is starting to take out its 5 minute pivot. So we need a 5 minute close right here, right above here. And if that happens, you'll see 2 green dots. You see here in our CCI, we crossed the center line. All right, we've crossed the center line. It's turning red to gray. Okay, let me see. It's 10:08. So at 10:10, if we're above this line, you'll see 2 dots appear there. Okay, 2 dots, meaning that now the Dow has gone to a positive bias. Okay, this screen here is the cash market. So on TOS, you go to TOS is TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform, and it's $AD SPDC, which is the cash market for S&P. All right. So we got. I mean, these are the kind of patterns that you like to see. All right. You want to see all these upper closes. We got back in value. We saw one lower close. Now it's starting to manifest itself back up to the upside. It's gonna try to take out this 5 minute pivot. Now, that will be the key if we're going to keep on going on the day. If we're going to keep on going, and there's a lot of things that bother me with this, because if you're a profile person, you're looking at the profile and you're going, this is not finished, right? And we're getting 2, 3, 2, 3. So letters across, and I say 2 letters across, 3 letters across, and 2 letters across, 3 letters across, okay? So these are the kind of things I look for to see if we're going to keep going or we're going to fail at the top and the market profile is going to fill in on the bottom. Okay, so we've got a lot of different things that we look at. And I tell you, there's not one thing you can look at. There's a lot of different things you're looking at. So now you see the two dots. So now the Dow has gone to a buy. So the only index, and let me explain what the 5-minute pivot is. The 5-minute pivot is a creation of Pat Tabbitt and myself. We've been using this for about 20 years, and it takes in consideration price and movement over a number of bars looking back. So that's how we look at that. Okay. So and now we've got this going from red to gray. We've got the CCI. The pink line here is our center line. It's in front of it. And now it's getting to the point where it could be overbought, but it hasn't really got above it. It's just kind of just sitting there. So to me right now, we're like, I've got every other index in a buy. I've got NASDAQ up 15. I got Russell up 4, the Dow up 26, and we're up 1. Okay. So, this is going to be the point of contention. Not only the 5-minute pivot, but the top of value, which is 21.14. Now, usually when you start outside of value, like we did, pre-market, okay, so we were right about here. Okay, so right around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, right, we went inside value, and we've been sitting inside value, and then we went down, tested the bottom, took out yesterday's low. We took out yesterday's low and the Globex low, and we have a double bottom down here. We've got a double bottom down at 375. Okay, so now, which I would, pre-market, I would, and yesterday I was looking for 275 because I wanted this right here. I wanted this single print to get filled in, which is at 21,275. So the problem with single prints and unfinished bottoms and tops, they could fill them in the next day. They can fill them in the next hour. They become targets, but they could also fill them in a week from now or a month from now. So, they're great for targets when you're moving in those directions, but you can't lay your head on it as the single indicator that you use. All right. So here we are. We went up and made a high right there. Oh, might have been 12 quarter. I don't know what the high is. So the high was 12 quarter. Is that ironic that it made a high of 12 quarter, and that's 2 rotations from the low? So when I look at those rotations, then my next rule is I take a look and see what the third rotation is. So 3 rotations would be would be 21.16.5, which would be R1. We would take the 5-minute pivot out, and markets like to move in usually in 3 rotations. So those are the things I look at, and these things change over a 30-day period. 3 weeks ago, when market volatility was up, we had a 600-point rotation in a 5-minute. So we've come down from a 600-point rotation now to basically a 4.25. So 175 points has come down. So those are important things that you have to look at. So I'm going to give you my best educated guess. As long as we stay in value, I think we're going to go up and we're going to complete that third rotation. Okay, we may and so we're going to take a look at this, and ironically, right, we have 21.16 is 1.5 times the IB range. So for me, that's a target. I'm going to wait and see what happens if we can, So when people call me or text me, do I get long? Do I get short? Do I get long? I'm never going to answer that question for you. What I'm going to give you is how I figure out where I think the market is going, right? So, let's use some common sense. if we break down to the value area low, so rotations work two ways, right? If we move back down this way, 4.25, that would bring us back to 2011 or 2108, right? So I'm going to wait to see if we get down here, and I'm going to see if we take value out. If we don't take value out, okay, and see how we're hovering around this price right now? That was the point of control and the most amount of trades that happened yesterday. I'm kind of glad that the market's moving slow for us right now because I can understand these concepts. So here's the cash 1 minute, okay? Sometimes this is in front of us, sometimes it's in back of it, but I like to look at it, and as you can see, it's just been making higher highs as we keep going. It's been making higher highs. So, and higher highs and lower lows, right? So that's what you're looking for in a market that's moving up. And the CCI is kind of flattened out, okay? So here comes, let's see what happens here. We had, remember now, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's awesome, 6, 7, 8, 9 5-minute bars up, and this is a 5-minute bar. And then this is a 1 down, and then we resume back up. Let's see if we start with the pattern again, if we're going to have another lower close, but doesn't take out anything significantly. So if you take a look at this bar here, okay, so right now I would get suspicious if we took this bar out, okay, and what's that price? That price is 21.10 quarter, and then the bottom of value of this bar would be basically 21.09 quarter, okay. So if we broke down in this area, okay, we got, this is going to tell you if the support's going to hold or not, okay. So you got to have like a wait and see. Right here, if you put a long on here, you could be flipping the coin. You're flipping the coin. I would rather see it go back and test here, or buy the breakout, or buy the breakout. All right. I know I'm moving. There's different people and so on. So if you have a question, put it either on your Twitter feed. You can put it on Twitter, or go to YouTube and just post it, and we'll start. And if it's about profile, let me know. And this software is called Inside Edge. And if you go to www.manovermarket.com, we have, and go to education, you will find a whole tutorial on the software and different formations in the profile and what they mean and what they don't mean, okay? And which I am only a novice because I've been using profile for 1.5 years. But what I like about profile is the fact that, so I traded in the pit, and so I used to use all the volume and watch the trade execution in the pit to kind of reinforce my technical analysis of what I was thinking about in the market, okay, where I thought the market was going to go. So what this does, so today our mode right now is, so the most volume traded at 21.09 quarter, 21.90 quarter. So mode becomes dynamic throughout the day, okay? Mode becomes dynamic throughout the day, and these are 30-minute periods, and you look for we look for markets to fill in and build bases. Now, here's another example. Here is the high from Globex. You see how that's a PV going straight across? When I tell you this is unfinished, this is either unfinished or what we call an ugly high. Markets don't do this. They don't, this was a top up there, and then so that's an ugly high. So that's another indication to me, if we get through the value area high, which would be close to the high, okay? All right, and then I'd be looking at that's another target for us on the way up, and 3 rotations would bring us to 16.5. Now, let me think about something else here. All right, the other thing is I like to look at what these markets do in 30-minute periods. Okay, so this is basically this is a 30-minute profile. The market bracket E. Well, I'll split this right here. Bracket E opened here, rallied to here. Okay. Okay, I like to watch to see where the market opened and where it finished in the 30-minute period. Usually, in what happens in these markets, the first 15 minutes they move in one direction, and then the second 15 minutes, if they're going to retrace, they'll retrace. If they don't retrace to the lows, and the next bracket opens up and starts moving higher, I know that I'm in. So take a look at bracket D. Opened lower, finished higher. Bracket C, opened lower, finished higher. Okay? Bracket B, opened higher, finished lower. This low didn't take out this low. So I put the profile back together. All right? Here's the low, didn't take out the low of C. Here's the low of E. Has not taken out the low of D. So that is telling me, and all these things are we call, it's sort of like you're getting a consensus opinion. I got the cash market doing the same thing on a 1-minute basis. Now, in trading futures, if you're looking at technical analysis, if I kind of blew this chart up, let me move this. Okay, this is a 1-minute chart. Okay, it's going to be hard. I won't be able to get the whole chart on here. Let me see if I can do it. All right, take a look at if you take a look at this chart, okay, from the opening, and take a look at this chart from the opening, 8:30. Here's a 1-minute basis, and here's a 5-minute basis. These charts are symmetrical. They look alike. So the 1-minute time frame is sometimes the precursor and telling you what they're going to look like. Now, if I did a 30-minute chart and a 15-minute chart, they would look the same. Okay? So this is what, when you're doing technical, these are the kind of things that you look for to give you consensus of opinion to make trading decisions. All right, so I've covered some ground. Is there any other questions out there?
Got a few questions.
All right, fire them up, Anthony.
All right, what are the two purple parallel dotted lines in the middle of the chart?
Very observant. You got my secret. You guys got me now. Hold on, let me bring this chart back up. Where did I put it? Where's the ES Live? Oh, I moved it? Okay. All right. All right. So years ago, when I was trading in the pit, okay, the Merc and all commodity exchanges had what you called an opening range. All right, because the bell would ring, and there were a bunch of buys and sell orders going off at once, and so customers couldn't get filled at the same price. All right, couldn't get filled at the same price. So the opening range used to be, I think, it might have been the first 5-minute period, and any fill that was inside the 5-minute range, the customer had to accept. So you could have the buy, so I take a look. Here's the high of the first 5-minute bar. So that's 21.1075. Here's the low of the bar, 21.08. I think it might be quarter. So I could do it really quick. I'll go over here to the first 5-minute bar. The high is 21.1075 and the low is 21.08. So those two purple lines, Pat has put in here so that I can gauge where the opening range was. So, markets tend, when they make a move one way or the other, and they can't get back through the opening range. So here's an important factor right here, okay? We're testing the bottom, the top of the opening range. Now, you see these two lines here? These are moving averages. We haven't created them, but they're a combination of a bunch of moving averages. This is our creation. I'm looking here for these to cross. Now they're both a long-term and a short-term moving average. Okay, if they cross, I've got green. I'll see if this will now go green down here. This should go green. And then I'm going to look to see if this goes green, this goes green, this should go green here, okay? And then you know, the short term or the intermediate color won't change for a while. But those are going to give me the precursor that the market is gaining momentum on the upside. So this CCI down here doesn't go from red to green. It goes from red to gray, okay? And I'm going to see if this will try to go back and cross over the center line, the pink line. Let me expand this for you. I think that'll give you a little more idea of what's going on. All right. All right. You guys are taxing my limits of trying to be computer savvy. All right. So for us, the two green lines are the overbought. So if it gets above the green lines, I'm looking for the market to pull back. If you get below the green line, I'm looking for the market to halt down here, right? And if you take a look, they kind of correspond, right? But everything in hindsight is great, okay? Everything in hindsight is great. So you're looking for it to get, it's below the green line. It's getting into an area where, you know, I thought that where the pullback would go, 275. We missed it by a point. So, you know, I should have looked at myself and said, this is it. This is good enough, right? No one's ever going to buy the buy. You know, you're never going to be able to pick the low. Very rare to get the low and sell a high, buy the bid and sell a high. So I hope that answers your question about the purple line.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Because we opened in value, don't you think we'll keep a cap on things today and make it a sideways day?
Well, yes. Well, you know that you only get about 4 trend days a month, right? So usually the market will trade on both sides of can trade on both sides of value, right? So we went out of value, now we're back inside value, and then the market's going to sit in here and it's going to make up its mind whether it's going to go back down or go up. And you're right, it's in value. So we could change, we could trade on both sides of value. But one of the things that are, you know, when you take a look at that, so the people who don't use market profile, this is overnight, okay? This is the overnight session, that's the Globex high. So then here is telling me that the value area high is 21.14 1/4. So we could get to there and not take out the high. We could take 14 1/4, I'll take the Globex high, go up another 1.5 and then go back in, all right? And, you know, we've had a lot of low volume days right now. So you're right, it could end up going back down in here and come out and try to take the lows out. That's why I'm telling you that there's not one thing. You know, usually in theory, right, you should be able to sell the top of value and wait for the market to move back over here to the mode. So here's the mode, 2011.5. Could have bought the bottom of value, right? And it moved back up to the mode. All right. So this is the whole idea of market profile. They create value areas. Now the value area, you know, I get this wrong all the time, but I think it's like 65 or 68% of the previous day's range. If somebody wants to correct me, go ahead. But I let the software tell me where it's at. I don't look at the. I'm not a good math guy. All right. I just know how to count. My position or money, one of the two. All right. So still no cross here. I'm looking for this to go down and see what happens here at the center line. If it bounces off there and that has to correspond with the bottom of value, it looks like it may hold. This may be a good area too. All right. And then when you think about putting trades on, right, this may be a good area to enter into a long. You got your bull bear zone about 2 points from here, okay? And us telling you, you know, I got an up bias for the day, 2 point risk, maybe a stop below here, and, you know, and I'm getting long at 9.25, thinking the market could go up to 16 or 14.5, right? So I've got a more upside objective because I stay inside value than I do have a downside objective where my stop is at. That's a good risk reward when it comes to thinking about putting trades on.
Ready for another one?
Go ahead.
How are you figuring the rotation amount of 4.25?
All right, I don't figure it. This software does it for me. So the problem is I'm going to have to put a different chart up to get to it. So you get the inside edge. All right, it's the average over a 30-day period. So let me go to inside edge and we'll do it for you and show you how it's calculated. So I can put the ES. Let me do this. Hold on a second. Bear with me. All right, so I'm going to put up another chart, and it's going to be a different chart than I'm going to put up what they call the F5 chart. Okay, so this is going to populate right here. All right, this is the F5 chart. Then I click on it. All right, go to market profile, and then I go to options. Oh, I'm sorry. I go to market profile, and then I go to boom, 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 boom. And, oh, here, miscellaneous. Okay, calculate rotation. All right, and then it calculates the rotation for me. All right, and it should give me the average rotation. Where did it go? All right, here it is. So on a 30-minute basis, you got 14 tick. So if I wanna get the 5-minute, I just take this chart. I go over here. I go to market. I go to chart parameters or quick change. Go to a 5-minute. Pat does this every night, so you got you're texting my. All right, please waiting. This will become a 5-minute chart. Please wait, please wait. And then I'll go right here to miscellaneous, calculate rotation. Then you wait till it's done. Okay, I got a 5-minute chart. Miscellaneous, calculate rotation. Unsuccessful. Try it again because I didn't wait. Calculate rotation. All right, so 19 ticks. Is that right? And I still did. I think this is there's a problem with it. What do we have it at? 14 ticks, I think. And then you just divide the ticks by 4, and that gives you the points. 17 ticks. Okay, 17 ticks. So now you're going to ask me why there is a difference. All right. So if I take the 19 and I divide it by 4, because we use other software. Okay. One of the softwares that Pat used to calculate stuff is TradeStation, and some of the stuff, the profiles, sometimes have different value areas and tick rotations. They're off by a tick or two. So that's how we get to it. So if I've took the average, what do we have, 17?
Yeah, 17 ticks.
All right, so if I took 19, clear, 19 divided by 4, it's 4.75 on ours. In TradeStation, it's 17 ticks. So that's the difference. I can't, it's off by 50 cents. It gives you a basis of how you calculate rotation. The software does it for you, but it's something you have to be aware of because if you want to look at rotations to enter trades, right? So right here, I'm looking to see, it could possibly back off the 4.25 points, test the 1108 or 2108, all right, and you'd have 2 up, 1 down, and then it could go back up and make its third. So those are one of the things that you look at when it comes to rotation. Okay.
We put it all up on manovermarket.com too every day.
Right. Go to manovermarket.com and we have.
We'll do it for you.
It's already done for you. It's calculated. If you want to do it yourself, you can. But if it's already done for you, and you just want to be a student of the game and do your own calculator, then go ahead.
Okay. How do you calculate the VAL and the VAH of the day? is it VAH and VAL of the previous day?
Correct. Yes, exactly. So here's yesterday's value area high, 21.14 1/4. See this red? These red dots, the red letters, MFHIKL. The software has computed it. And then you go to the bottom, 21.09 1/4. Okay? And then what we do is we take that and we put this in a pretty picture right on our trading screen. Okay? So I don't have to look at the profile. I leave it in the shaded area. We shade it in. Okay? And that's exactly how it's calculated. So to give you a couple other things, this is the mean, which means it's the halfway point between the value area high and value area low. And then over here, the purple, okay, is the most volume traded at that price. So in this whole day, all the volume, the most volume, and you can see over here these red dots here, or red lines, that's the volume associated with the day, and the most volume traded at that price. Now, these longest line of letters, these prices traded through more than this price, meaning that that price occurred more, but there wasn't a lot of volume there. The volume was at this price. So that's, we kind of they refer to this as time, right? So one of the things that you look for in profile, and maybe why we got our sell off today, is time, okay, or TPOs, they call these TPOs, and go on the site and you'll be able to find all this stuff out. Is time above volume is an indication that the market may be going down, okay? It's an indication the market may be going down, all right? But that's the profile from yesterday. The problem is you have to put all these together, right? So one of the things we do here, and there's different profiles here at Control Center, I guess. You got another question there?
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Where do these indicator setups come from?
Which indicator?
All your charts and things. How are they created? Where do they come from?
From 20 years of experience.
Exactly.
Right? So there's a lot of off-the-shelf stuff that you can go in every platform. Moving averages, you can get Fibonacci numbers, you can do, a lot of different things, right? So one of the things I looked at today, okay, and this is, so let's do this, okay? So look, we didn't invent all this stuff. We just have a very specific way and found things over 25 years of what we like to look at, right? So I'm going to go to a day chart. I'm going to make this a day chart, okay? And there's a lot of smart people out there. There's other people that are actually, contributing on Man Over Market now. And one is Paulie, SPZ Trader, all right? He's a big Fibonacci guy, okay? And so I go here and I look at the day chart and I go look at that low that I was looking at, that I wanted out, right? Because it would fill in. So that low was made, let me see here. That's right here on this day, okay? So I'm gonna expand that 2 1/4. So now I'm gonna go to 30-minute chart, okay? And I'm gonna put in, okay, yesterday's high, okay, right there. Let me find the low that I want to find. Is that yesterday's low? That's the 275 low, okay? So I'm going to go up here, yesterday's high, and I'm going to right-click on it. I'm going to right-click on the chart. Thank you. Screwed it up. All right, I'm going to right-click on the chart. And I'm going to go add a drawing, and I'm going to go to Fibonacci, and I'm going to go to a retracement, okay? And I'm going to take that down to 2 1/4, okay? And then I'm going to click on it. All right. So that's going to give me levels, all right? Okay, from yesterday's high. And the low that I think that's significant right now, because I think that the market is going to be looking for that low, okay? So when you do that, all right, you take a look at this, the 50% retracement is right here at 10 and a quarter, and we're kind of sitting right there, right? Where did we go down to? We went to a 30 or 23.6% retracement, okay? So, and then we kind of bottomed out here. This is where we bottomed out, okay? So, as long as we stay above 10 quarter, right, and we're above the 50%, and we got everything else, we're inside value, we got 2 rotations, we got a target up here. The ES is the only index not in a buy, okay? And I look at this, all right? 3 rotation gives me, oh, imagine that, R1, 16 and a quarter, okay? And then, all right, you take a look at the 161.8, 121 and a quarter, and we have been talking about it. Paulie's been talking about it. Everybody who's doing fibs say this looks like where it could be topping out between 18 and 21. So you just gotta, what you have to do is sort of like look for consensus, right? You know, it's like, it's not one thing that allows you to make up your mind, right? And then you have to use those experiences and jot down when you make a trade, when you don't make a trade, trades that you miss, losing trades. Look, trading is like life, right? I used to tell people, if it didn't cause you some pain, it wasn't a lesson. It wasn't a lesson. It has to cause you some pain. And for traders, the pain is losing money, right? And then you try to get it back, and then you overtrade, and then you do certain things. So those are the things that happen. Any other questions?
Can you explain rotation again?
All right. So market volatility, contracts and expands. So what happens is that the market will move an average rotation, meaning that right now our market rotation, the average rotation in a 5-minute period is 4.25 points. Okay? So if I looked at this bottom, all right, I look at this bottom, which was 20, the low basically, which is 2103.75, and its high, okay, the high was 2107.75, okay. It was 50 cents. It was 50 cents away from making 2108, or no, actually, what was the high? I'm sorry. The high is it was 1 tick. So it went to the average rotation. So in 5 minutes, it moved almost 425 points from the bottom to the top. Okay? Then, but when you do the math, it really was 2108. So we went to the 2108, went back down, stopped. So now it was telling me, all right, so in a down market and things that you have, you look for, this would be a place where you may want to enter into a sell, okay? Right here, because you had 1 rotation down. So if we were in a bullish or bearish market and the market was extremely bearish, this would be one of the places you would look, because it made its average rotation of 425 points. But it held there, okay? It held, okay? And then it kept going to the second rotation, which was 2112, and we've been sitting there ever since. Okay, so now the market has to make up its mind, but there's other things that happened here. So here's a 30-minute time frame, right? Remember I tell you markets should look the same, the 1 minute, 5 minute, right? So we've actually spent 1 hour since we made the lows going straight up. And now we're kind of stalled right here. So the time frame I like to look at, I'm sorry, I probably got it screwed up because I'm on the 30-minute chart, but let's look at the 5-minute chart, and that will see where we're at, because it's probably not going to show you that in the 5-minute chart. All right, no, it did not. All right, so the low was here. The first 5 minutes, we made a high of 2106 quarters, so the high of this bar right here, okay? But we didn't go down and take the low out. So when we didn't go down and take the low out, I was thinking, okay, to complete the average rotation, it has to go to 2108, okay? And it did. It went to 2108, all right? So that would be the first spot if it was a negative bias and we thought the market was, you know, given the fact that there was a couple things going against you. So you want to take a look and observe there, right? So I was looking for 4.25 points, 2108. I got the Dow and at the time I had the Nasdaq and the Russell in a buy and the Dow and the S&Ps in a sell based on our 5-minute pivot. So to me, that's conflicting. It's a time to stay out of the market. You don't want, there's no confirmation being made, okay? Now, so it didn't stop at that average location. So I calculated the second 4.25, which was 2112, and it stopped right up at 2112 and a quarter. So, you know, this has to do with the fact that everybody's got computers today, and all these algos, all right, are driving people, the computers are driving them, and the only way they can build algos is on math. So that's why I look at average rotation. Does that explain it?
Yep, she's got it.
Got it.
All right. Is value area created off the regular trading hours or the Globex in the chart?
Those are day charts. So if I wanted to, here, I'll take this out. Let me bring profile back in. All right. I'll bring the profile back in. All right. So so the nice thing about this software is you have the ability to do what you want, right? So you can go here, right? And I can go reset daily splits. Okay. Now you take a look at this right now. This is with the overnight and the current day session. All right. My preference and Pat's preference is that we give some credence to the overnight, but we actually, so if I want to just look at the day, I just click on B. So now I'm looking at the day activity right here in profile, right here. Okay. So when we look at when I look at this, I want to look at yesterday's value area versus the combined. The combined to me, because there's not a lot of volume overnight, I rather look at the day session than the combined. That's my preference. There's some other people who don't like it. So does that answer that question?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. This is a good one. How did you make decisions from the pit before you had the software?
All the customers would call me up and tell me that they're going to buy the market, and I'd get in front of their orders. All right. So this is exactly, so what's been the hardest thing for transformation, right, is the fact that I used to have physical confirmation of market movement. Like you could sense, I could sense the when all the buyers were coming in the pit and all the brokers were buying. I could see it. I could sense. There's no rush in the world when the market moves your way and everybody's doing this, is pushing the market up for you. Okay, and the same thing conversely, if you're short and they're pushing the market down. So what I used to do, and this is when I met Pat, and I was backing traders, and I had a bunch of people. We had 9 people that I'd started in the trading community and was backing. I would meet every morning with 3 different analysts. Someone had a Fibonacci background, some had just with purely technical points, and then I met Pat. And we would meet separately, all the analysts, the traders. They would leave. We would get consensus from the 3 of them, and then we would formulate our trading plan. And we would have, okay, we're looking to buy it at basically 2107, 21. What was I looking for this morning? Right, that single print. Now, so what I would look for in the pit was would get to places that we talked about. And then I'd be watching for order flow, okay? And I would watch order flow. It'll come in and confirm. So if a lot of buying came in down here, okay? And this is the hard thing for me now, right? I haven't found any software that actually represent a lot of that stuff for me, all right? Now, I have found a software that I think is very good, and I'm going to share it with you right now, okay? And Anthony's going to put the guy who you contact in, okay? So when I give you stuff and I say, okay, this software is called Bookmap, all right? And this is, so we might tell you, look here's solid orders at 2109, okay? There's an intensity setting on here, and I set it to see where the orders are resting, right? So if I want to be long, now look at this. Oh, 2114, 2113 half, 2113. These are attractors for me, okay? See here? 2109, right? We got 2,500 contracts sitting here, okay? So this is the thing, these are the kind of things that you have to go out there and look. Now, if you think you're going to trade off this software and get in front of this stuff, you're going to be wrong, all right? You have to have a plan. This is just another tool, right? Yesterday, when I thought the market was going to go down, and I tweeted out the market should go down, all these orders were resting down here at 7.5 and 6.5. All right, we just couldn't get out of value. I thought we'd do it overnight. What did we do? We did it on the opening. We got an opening drive, went down there and took out all those orders. All right, this is the long-term guys, meaning long-term that they'll probably sit overnight with positions. Okay. Now, yesterday was ironic because I saw a bunch of orders sitting up at 2115, and there was not much above it. There was some stuff at 2117. So that was telling me that a lot of, the day before when I saw 9 to 15,000 contracts go off at 2115 and more 2115, that the market was making sort of a top up here. Okay. So Anthony's putting in who you should see. All right. And this software is, it's a one-time license key. I think it's $500. Okay, this is a great piece of software. This is the best software I've seen as far as representing what it looked like in the pit. Okay, this is awesome software. Now, let me tell you something. When this market moves, you'll see these red dots just boom, 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 boom. It's like Pac-Man. Remember Pac-Man? They just gobble up these white lines. Okay, so there's guys trading in front of algorithms. I mean, there's banks and so on. I look at this software just to help me with, if we got an idea that this could be a top, and I go, I'm not the only guy with the idea up here. The idea could be a bottom. I'm not the only guy with an idea. So they become attractors. So that is my tip of the day. I actually had dinner with Jim last night, and I told him I would push the book map, and I have no financial reward or kickback or anything for this software. I've been using it for 3 months, and I'm going to tell you right now, I just think it's the best thing. I've looked at different ladders and some other things. This is for me, it's the best one I've seen. Okay, that's it. And I'm just going to say it again. I do not have any financial dealings with this company. So, anything else?
Do you use 70% of your market profile or a different number? Do you use the last 15 minutes?
I'm on a 30-minute chart. This is a 30-minute profile, and I'm not sure if this is at 70 or 68%. I can check it out. Why don't you can text Pat. I think it. There's
I'll post it on Twitter later.
Right. There's different profile people. Some use the 70%. Some use 68 or 65. I'm not sure. You know what? This works fine for me. This inside edge software. And Charlie Cochran. So understand that Stottlemyre invented market profile, and the Merck bought it from him. But back then, it was just price. Okay. The difference, 2002, the Merck started letting volume go into it, right? So when volume started going in, they allowed. So now this is what's more important to me, because I want to see where the buyers and sellers are coming together, right? I want to see if the mode and the value area high and low is moving up or they're moving down. Because So let me show you a day-only profile, which is a little bit different because it's on TOS software. Let me open it up. And you guys see me, I show this guys a lot. And I know we're going to run out of time, and I want to tell a quick story before we run out of time. Where is that profile? Here it is. All right. All right. So to me, this is a 20-day moving profile, right? So here's the top of value for the last 20 days, 21.18 and a quarter. Here's the mode at 20.93.13, and here's the bottom of value down here at 20.32. All right. So when you look at profile, here's what you want to see, right? Look back in here. So right here, that was that halfway point from the range before we broke out. So this was 2026, okay? Now, when you look at value, you want to see value low going up. You want to see mode going up. You want to see value high going up, value low going up, and you want to see a staircase of events, right? Now we get a bit of a little retracement. We couldn't take out this area, and we've had a step all the way till we had to break out of the range. Here was that range, the top of the range. Going up, going up. Now we're sitting here. Now, what am I looking at? I'm looking at this gap we got sitting back here at 20.68.5. The market's going to go back and test this sometime. The problem is that we are in this bull market, and it's not trading like normal markets. It's been in a very low volume grind, and the long-term money is in control. Okay, so I'm gonna stake my career that this market this year will go down and test this area again. All right, I will quit if it doesn't happen. No, I won't. All right, we're actually running out of time.
Sorry if we didn't get to all the questions.
Sorry if I didn't get all the questions, but I'm going to tell you a very quick story. It's one of my best stories. So I'm going to put this on stop sharing. Hold on a second. Stop sharing my screen. Hopefully you're seeing my face right now. Deb? Okay, I can see it. All right. So here's the deal. And it's a little about market psychology. So I love telling this story, and I hope he's listening out there because he was one of my best buddies, and we had a good time together. So I'm going to stop being so animated. I'm going to try to talk without my hands. You know how you shut up in Italian, tie his hands together, right? All right. Debbie told me I use my hands too much. So I'm in the bathroom where we tend to meet at the Merc one day, and my buddy Jerry Friedman, Frybaby, F-R-I, is basically talking to himself. And I'm going, Jerry, what the hell are you doing? He goes, you know, last week, he goes, 2 weeks ago, I made money Monday through Thursday, and I lost it all on Friday. And the week after that, I did the same thing. Made money through Thursday, lost it all on Friday. And now I'm getting ready, and I'm going to go see my shrink. I go, Jerry, you're going to see a shrink to tell you that you shouldn't trade on Fridays? Give me the $300, and you don't have to trade on Fridays, and you'll make, you know, they'll save the $300. So that's only half the story. So about a month later, I see Jerry talking to this guy who actually looks like Sigmund Freud with the beard, the glasses, and so on. He's got a new member badge. And Jerry introduces me to him as, I forgot his name, but he was actually the shrink. He goes, yeah, I think that, I can control my emotions, and I'm gonna be, I think I can, make money at this business. Jerry, told me, all about it. I go, okay. So fast forward like 2 months later, I see the shrink. He's all dejected, and and I see him. I go to talk to him. I go, what happened? He goes, I lost all my money. I'm gonna go back to being a shrink. I go, now you can be a shrink for traders because you tried to do this business. So you know what? If this was easy, everybody be doing it. And if there was, and remember this, if there was a holy grail out there, if you had a system that made money every day, you just turn it on and it made money, would you share it with anybody? No, you would not. You would take that system, keep your mouth shut, and then you would just trade and make money. That's the fact. So, you know, there's a lot of snake oil, I call them snake oil salesmen. This is a process, and you're going to have to go through the process. And, you know, and like I said last week, you have to understand that it's probably going to take you a year of solid trading and nothing else. You can't be doing other things if this is what you're doing, because you have to learn all the different things that's going on in the market. Okay? So hopefully, what we got? Is that it? Yep. That's it. All right. Everybody, I'm going to try to do another one, a couple of these next week. And I like that the market slowed down. All right. Take a look. We're trying to make a move out of value again here. So take a look at this area again and try to use the things that I've applied and to make very good decisions. Okay. We're testing the bottom of value right now. All right. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. And I think that's it.